Hello again. So this is a follow-up to my Savage Model 25 review, and I'll tell you what happened. A couple of days ago, I made up some hand loads, the factory ammo that I shot off. I reconditioned the cases and I made up some factory loads. Now, the loads that I made a mistake, and quite an innocent one, because what happened was that, if you'll recall, old Nick Harvey, in his Reloading the 17 Hornet article, which was quite lengthy, he used 10 grains of little gun with the 20 grain VMAX projectiles, 20 grains of little gun, and he recommended using CCI 450 small rifle Magnum primers. So that bumps it even more, and he reckoned he was getting 36.99 feet per second, which is really hot. And my understanding is that most of his hand loads, and when I've compared them on paper to reloading manuals and manufacturers' recommendations, that his loads are quite hot and probably excessive. Now, so what I did was, I went, because I'm using Hodgdon little gun, I went on the Hodgdon's bright light. I went on the Hodgdon website, downloaded their data, and for the 20 grain VMAX projectile, using their powder little gun, they start it at 9.7 grains and maximum load is 10 grains. Now, most manufacturers, I've found, their data, like their maximum load data, is still conservative. So when I looked at that and I saw, well, Nick Harvey reckons 10 grains, but you know, Hodgdon reckons 10 grains is max. So that's probably, I don't know, 5 percentage points or something below actual maximum. And that's not what I found. That's not the case at all. And at the start of the video, you'll see a couple of pictures of where I had primers popping. And I'm not talking about with the Magnum primers. I'm just talking about ordinary CCI 400 small rifle primers. So that's not even with Magnum primers. So I had 3 primers pop, meaning I had smoke coming out the back where the primers lost their seal. So what happened was, because that was such an excessive load, well, for this gun, I had one case that got stuck, and when I went to extract it, the extractor popped out. And the reason is that the extractor on this bolt is, it's not the best design. It's a claw extractor, but it's I don't know if this type of extractor they have on all their bolts or what, but you know, I wish that they had put a Seiko design extractor on their bolt, because that is, you can't get better. You can't get a better extractor than a Seiko extractor, except for the Mauser, you know, rotating extractor, which, yeah, literally you can't get better than that. But as far as just small extractor designs, the Seiko is the best. This is not a Seiko extractor, and it popped out. Yeah, which I have heard like Aussie reviews, I think he had extraction problems from memory. Yeah, it just wasn't extracting the cases. So yeah, so problems. Problem number one, the extractor is a bit weak. The design is not crash hot. It's not the best design. Now, so today, because I've just come back from a couple of hours ago, come back from the range, and what I did was, because I had that load was so excessive, I thought, because you're only looking at 10 grains, I will go down by half a grain to 9.5 grains and only use bench rest primers, because they're not as, I think they're a little bit less explosive than the normal 400 primers. They're CCI, or obviously the Magnum primers. Now, even though I went to 9.5 grains, which is less, it is 2.2 of a grain less than the Hodgdon starting weight on their load recommendation data. It's still excessive because it's still cratering the primers. Where the pin strike, you can see it's cratered. It shouldn't be doing that. So that is still excessive. So I don't know whether this rifle in particular, the tolerances are really, really high, and it's not as it's not as agreeable as Neil Harvey's rifle was, because he used exactly the same rifle to develop his load, and I can't believe that he published that article if he was having problems with excessive, pressure. So problem one is that load is way too excessive. Problem two is that the extractor is a bit, pardon my French, is a bit piss weak, but don't have excessive loads and you probably won't have a problem with it. Problem two is the stock, and I'm whinging about the stock again, but it is so flexible at the fore end. Like, it just moves around so much that I've got it sitting on the bench and I'm not even touching the rifle, and that, because I've got a European scope, so it's got a floating point dot, and it's moving around. That stock, this stock is just such garbage. I can't wait to get my new Boyd's. I've got a Boyd's stock on order, which I'm gonna have to wait 3 months for. Yeah, sweet. Now, problem number three, which is a big problem, is the trigger. Right, that trigger, that blade, this AccuTrigger with that safety blade, whatever they call it, it kept locking up. I kept having to recock it to unlock. Now I'm going to try and get it to do it. Being a lot, and it probably won't do it. There you go. See that? Won't move. Totally locked up. That trigger is just totally locked up. That blade will not move. Yet if I recock it, no, locked up again. Recock it, it's free. I mean, that thing moves side to side. Yeah. This AccuTrigger of theirs is. So I've got a Rifle Basics replacement. It's not the whole trigger assembly, but it's the trigger shoe and all that bit with this crappy blade, whatever they call it, without that. So I'm not gonna. Hopefully, I'm not gonna have the trigger locking up like that. Well, I won't. So they're the problems. Even still, it's an accurate rifle. Like, with those 9.5 grain loads, 9.5 grains of little gun, I'll put that over there. It's still proved accurate. Those loads were more accurate than the 10 grain loads. for instance, let's see, I didn't have that many rounds because the Hornety brass, I haven't got the quick trim. I've just ordered a Lee quick trim die to trim the brass because that Hornety brass blew out and it's over length. So I left that alone, but the Cellular and Bellow brass was okay. So I reconditioned that brass, and that's what I did these 9.5 grain reloads with. So I'll show you what the groups are. The first group was pretty big. It was 1.7 inches. So I shot that. That was the first group, and I went, oh God, that's horrible. And that is horrible at 100 meters, 110 yards. Then the second group was 1 inch. Oh, yeah, okay. It seems to really want to foul up. The third group was 0.56 of an inch. These are 4-shot groups, most of them. So that's really nice. The fourth group was 0.77 of an inch. The fifth group was 0.73 of an inch. So pretty respectable groups. The sixth group was 0.75 of an inch. The seventh group was 0.45 of an inch. Really tiny group. The eighth group was 0.8 of an inch. The ninth group was 0.55 of an inch. So this rifle has a lot of accuracy potential. I mean, if I'm getting, you know, half-inch groups or very close to it, with those problems, you know, with that really crap trigger, and the stock is abominable, really. Yeah, I can't even begin to tell you how much I hate that stock. But I have absolutely no, I just can't wait. You know, like really, I can't wait to get the new stock for it, the Boyd's, and I'll get that pillared and bedded, and that Trigger Basics trigger, and I'll reduce the loads down to 9 grains of little gun, and I reckon that'll do the job. That will really seriously increase accuracy, and the magazine still not have had a problem with it, even though it is really cheap and nasty. Haven't had a problem with it, so that's good. Knock on wood. Haven't had a problem with it. This is the one thing I haven't had a problem with. One other thing, I'll mention this. One other thing about the rifle is it's got a target crown, a recessed muzzle, and like where they've machined it, it's really sharp. They never beveled it. It's really sharp. So yeah, I don't know whether they just forgot to, or they don't bother. I don't know, but yeah, there's a lot of things about this rifle that scream cheap, but it's just got so much accuracy potential. I'm gonna, you know, I'm not gonna give up on it at all, because I think I'm gonna make, well, as I said, I'm gonna make a laser. And when I get the Boyd's stock, I'll put my chatless, the Chinese Atlas, on it. I'll put a pick rail and put the chatless on it, and that chatless seems to be a lot more stable than these Caldwell style, Harris style bipods. They seem to move around a fair bit. So I can't wait to get the stock and the trigger, and so it's going to take a little while, and then I'll get back to you. I'm not going to bother doing any more with it until I get those two items and put them on, and then I have absolutely no doubt that I will make an absolute, you know, tack driver rifle. So that's about it, and until then, see you later.